Take a ride with me back to the unbelievably radical 1990s when the world was totally extreme and everything was full of attitude. And that attitude was in your face all the time at an energy level that cannot possibly be maintained. People couldn't get enough of anthropomorphic animals, weaponized snarkasm, cybernetic arms, and a renewed interest in the fate of the planet. Now take all of that, mix in enough winking at the camera that would make Wayne and Garth jealous, put it on a motorcycle, and you've got yourself not just a toy line, but a full animated series. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the history of Biker Mice from Mars. Biker Mice from Mars is an animated series and toy line that debuted in 1993. 65 episodes over 3 seasons through 1995. It follows the adventures of 3 Martian mice, Throttle, Modo, Vinny, and their motorcycles, escaping the imminent destruction of their home by an alien force attempting to steal all of the natural resources. The alien force, or Plutarchans, pursue them through space, disabling their ship and forcing them to crash land on Earth in Chicago during a baseball game at Quigley Field. With a little bit of luck, their motorcycles do survive, and it's not long before the biker mice befriend a woman named Charlie, the owner of the local auto shop. A woman who, coincidentally, needed their assistance fending off the threatening advances of the goons sent to terrorize her by Chicago's most vile criminal and prominent business person, Lawrence Limburger. Limburger is a Plutarchan in disguise that, sadly, perfectly mimics the behavior of the corporate leaders and industrialists that were already working to steal resources, exploit loopholes in the system, and further disenfranchise people in their communities in the name of profits. It suggests more about how easily it was for Limburger to blend in than it does for how awful he actually is. Many of the episodes revolve around the biker mice dealing with attempts to discourage them from interfering with the various resource acquisition programs Limburger has underway. It's not the kind of show where you solve all the problems and defeat the authorities by jumping over a ravine with a conveniently placed ramp. That said, these rocking and rolling 90s mice do like to put on a show. Biker Mice from Mars didn't traffic so much in violence as it did literal performative resistance. It was airing post-Children's Television Act of 1990, attempting to do what cartoons had been doing successfully for over a decade: sell commercial time, sell toys. The Children's Television Act required networks to air a minimum amount of educational and informational content during each week of their broadcast, or risk losing their license. To work around that, many creators and networks developed programs that, on the surface at least, dealt with social or environmental issues. There was no regular audit of what they were actually broadcasting, but a show with less emphasis on violence, focused on saving the planet, was far more likely to fly under the radar. On top of that, 1990 was the 20th anniversary of Earth Day, and there was a renewed global interest in efforts to clean up the environment, led mostly by the fact that people were willing to spend money on stuff that was, at least on the surface, related to cleaning up the environment. Captain Planet and Toxic Crusaders in 1990, G.I. Joe's Eco Warriors in 1991, Fern Gully in 1992, Biker Mice from Mars was heavy on the key themes, going so far as to demonstrate a race of creatures that had to leave their planet due to the pillaging of natural resources. On top of that, Biker Mice dealt with issues like nuclear meltdowns, toxic pollution of water sources, acid rain, and the coming storm of Shia, as if not. You might be having a bit of deja vu. Feel like you've seen this show before? Yeah, it's a bit Ninja Turtles, but that's not it. It definitely had motorcycles, a better theme song. What was it? Cowboys in Moo Mesa? SWAT Cats? Street Sharks? You're thinking of Avenger Penguins, which used penguins instead of mice. Similar concept with respect to animals riding motorcycles, but it was only broadcast in the UK. Also, it used penguins instead of mice. Biker Mice from Mars was created by Rick Unger. Rick was president and then CEO of Marvel Productions, the film and television wing of Marvel Entertainment, in 1991 and 1992. In 1993, he helped oversee the transition of Marvel Productions to its new identity as New World Animation, and then president at New World Entertainment, which became New World Pictures, which was folded into 20th Century Fox, which is now owned by the Walt Disney Corporation. Rick was a contributor to Forbes.com, a co-host of Steele and Unger with former RNC chairman Michael Steele on Sirius XM, and is now host of a nationally syndicated radio show called The Rick Unger Show, all of which I point out because it is an illustration of the diversity of folks who work in creative industries and the lives they may lead after creating something like Biker Mice from Mars. Biker Mice from Mars featured a cast of notable stars. Vinny was voiced by Ian Ziering, who was also playing Steve Sanders on Beverly Hills 90210, at a time when that show was at its peak in terms of viewership and pop culture relevance. Throttle was played by Rob Paulson, whose IMDb page is so long it takes advantage of the fact that pages on the internet can scroll to infinity. Durian Harewood, another veteran actor performing since the 70s with dozens upon dozens of credits both in front of the camera and voice-based, played Modo. Performers like William Morgan Shepherd, Lisa Miller McGee, Brad Garrett, Jess Harnell, and Susan Silo, and in addition to Ian Ziering, most of the rest of the cast of Beverly Hills 90210 also guested on the show, including Luke Perry, Jason Priestley, Brian Austin Green, Jenny Garth, and Tori Spelling.
Yeah! Cool! Throttle, Vinny, Moto, biker mice on battle bikes with the firepower to stop the evil Plutarchians. And now, make way for Throttle's Blazing Cycle with a blazing back wheel of power. Just pull the ripcord, and the Blazing Cycle goes the distance!
Blaze on, bros.
Blazing Cycle, rock and ride!
The Biker Mice from Mars Blazing Cycle. Additional figures and bikes each sold separately. Batteries not included. New from Galoob.
Marvel Comics published a 3-issue series, which was quickly canceled. Marvel UK also published some comics that were canceled, but with an English accent. In 1994, the Biker Mice from Mars Super NES game was released by Konami, a racing game, naturally, but with missiles and stuff. For the most part, positively reviewed, if not regarded as an average game that didn't misuse the license. In 1993, Galoob released a series of 5-inch action figures with corresponding motorcycles for the titular characters Moto, Throttle, and Vinny. The line was supported by friends like Charlie and nemeses like Lawrence Limburger, Grease Pit, and Dr. Carbuncle. They could easily fit right in with your existing collection of Ninja Turtles, Toxic Crusaders, and Star Trek: The Next Generation. Galoob also produced playsets like the Scoreboard Hideout, Dr. Carbuncle's Lab, and Transporter. They made 12-inch figures and Micro Machines. The series lasted 3 seasons, still being aired in 1996, and the toy line was refreshed each year accordingly with different motorcycles and variations of the mice themselves. Nothing lasts forever. Time and tastes change. 90s kids outgrew the mice from Mars, potentially to engage in actual bikering. Hard to say quantifiably what influence it really had on that generation. It would only be 10 years before biker mice would find their way back to televisions, an impressive feat given the degree to which it has been overshadowed by its more notable contemporary Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Citing a lack of boys' action-adventure series on television, Biker Mice from Mars began production on their long-awaited 4th season. The mice were back, as was Charlie, and the need to leave Mars for Earth based on natural resources. This time it wasn't the Plutarchians, although Lawrence Limburger and several of his associates did return for the series. This time it was the Catatonians to really hammer home that mouse angle. Villains with cheese names like Limburger, Lord Camembert, and Napoleon Brie were a good place to start, but the change to cats ups the sense of danger, natural predators in the role of predator. The new series premiered in the UK in 2006, but wouldn't find its way to the US until 2008. This time, though, the toy license was retained by an Italian company called Giochi Preziosi, who had experience in the toy industry with brands like Gormiti. They contracted a company called Pangea, who were involved with the original rollout of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the 80s, among others. Pangea and series creator Rick Unger worked together to create the new figures and accessories before having them incorporated into the animated series. Returning characters are given some cosmetic updates, outfits more in style with the early 2000s over the 90s, and the MacGuffin centers around a device called the Regenerator, a device that can transform dirt into any other substance. The Regenerator is crucial to the survival of Martians as it is a means to create water from soil. In the wrong hands, it could be used to change dirt into anything. 2 Regenerators were created. One is on Mars, where it is destroyed by the Catatonians in the first episode of the new series. The second is on Earth in the hands of a character named Ronaldo Rump. Ronaldo is a reality TV show producer / host and also real estate developer, also profiteer and, without question, a supervillain. He's a hybrid of Geraldo Rivera and Donald Trump, illustrated like a cartoon, but far less cartoonish. The 28 episodes of the 4th season revolve around the Biker Mice's attempts to thwart Ronaldo Rump's attempts to both create a new regenerator and use it to, again, convert natural resources into personal profits, as well as stopping the Catatonians from acquiring it and using it for their worldly destructive purposes. A more limited line of new toys were produced and released in 2006. There was a new video game for the Nintendo DS and PS2, and then the series, for now, ends in an all-out, fully musical episode until the next time the Biker Mice from Mars and Ronaldo Rump attempting to pillage the Earth of its natural resources for personal profit becomes relevant again. Parts of Biker Mice from Mars have been made available on home media. The first 13 episodes were released in the UK by Maximum Entertainment. Exposure Entertainment released a 2-disc set of Season 1 in 2008. Neither are for sale in 2019 unless you can find them on the secondary market, although several, if not all of those episodes can be found here on YouTube. But no intellectual property with even one fan is ever truly dead. Fans have come together with an online petition asking for release of the full series on DVD or Blu-ray. It is supported by thousands of signatures, potentially some of yours. Thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy. Please share this video and let us know in the comments down below if you were a fan of the original series, the 2006 series, or if you're just finding out about this now. And let us know in the comments down below which order you would put these things in from best to worst: motorcycles, the 90s, cyborg arms, and natural resource theft for personal profit. I like the arms.
Cut.